Never let anybody see you sweat. So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Hannah RAINN claims her former friend brought her 3-year-old on a girl's getaway, and the child threw up on her designer tote. When FABLES says Miss RAINN took it upon herself to rock her daughter and caused her to get sick.
Okay, Miss RAINN, you are suing Miss FABLES for $1,385, the cost of a purse that you say her baby ruined. What happened here?
We've been friends since college. We were really close junior year. We would party a lot and hang out and just have like an overall really good vibe together. And then when we graduated, she moved all the way across the country, and I tried to stay in touch, but over COVID, she just cut me off. And so like we kind of lost touch, right? And
okay.
At that time, she had a very bad boyfriend who did not treat her well at all, and she had a child with that boyfriend.
Okay.
So recently, she actually came back into town, and she reached out to me. It was actually very heartfelt, saying like, I want to be friends with you again, let's be close again,
okay.
and all this nice stuff. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I miss you a lot. I want to have that good vibe again. And we did. We went out for drinks, and we were kind of drinking a lot and had a great idea of like going on a trip to Austin that we've always talked about going on in college. So I'm a travel agent, so I booked these tickets that were buy one, get one right there, then and there. And yeah, we were deciding to go on a trip to Austin together.
Okay, I'm sorry, but she has a child, right?
Yes.
So didn't she need a minute and not right then, right there to figure out if she could do childcare or whatever?
Yeah, so that didn't really come up with the drinks flowing.
All right, so really?
I felt really pressured, Your Honor, and she was all caught up in this deal where she would pay the airfare and I would get one free alongside of it. So
okay.
I felt very pressured to say yes.
So you guys make the commitment there while you're intoxicated, and then what happens?
So then the next day, she obviously checked for childcare and she could not get it. So she was like, hey, can I bring my kid? And I was like, you know what? Sure.
It was actually her.
Hold on one second, please. I can't have you talking at the same time, okay? So what happens? You go on the trip, and what happens?
So I planned out this entire trip based on what we had talked about in college of where we always wanted to go, what we wanted to do, like all these fun things. But then I also know she had a kid, so I planned things around like the kid and everything like that, you know, healthy places that the kid could eat and all this fun stuff. And then when we got there, she didn't want to do any of it. And she just wanted to eat fast food and serve her kid fast food and literally sit at the hotel the entire time. And I just felt completely used because I feel like I had put in all this work and effort and planning, and especially to like build our relationship again together.
Your Honor, it was.
Did she say anything to you, or did you say anything to her like, come on, let's go do this, let's go do that? Like, was there a plan before? I know you said you planned all this stuff, but did you plan it in conjunction with her, or you just thought she'd follow you wherever you said to go?
I told, like, we talked about what we were doing, like, when we were drunk that night, and then also, like, obviously in college about what we would do.
No, forget about college. You guys are different people now. You know that, right? So before the trip, did you say, here are the plans? Does this sound good or nothing? There was no discussion about what was going to be done for the days that you were in Austin.
Well, we were kind of like texting back and forth, like, oh, would it be fun to do this, or would it be fun to do that, you know?
Okay.
And so then I made the plans around that, but, you know, it was a whole situation with her kid, and obviously, like, I was trying to keep it financial based on her situation and everything.
Right,
and
financially affordable. So,
yeah.
So when you get there, like, item number 1 on the agenda is to do what, according to you?
We were going to go to a museum so that the kid could learn a little bit about art.
And what did she say when it was time to go? Had she agreed to go to the museum? Or no, you brought it up for the first time, let's go to the museum when you're there?
I had not, Your Honor.
I am not talking to you. You will know because I will be looking at you right in the eyeballs. Go ahead.
She had not agreed to the museum, but she agreed to the restaurant afterwards, and she didn't want to go to either.
Okay. Is that accurate?
Yes. I didn't realize how much she had booked. I thought we just had a couple of tentative plans, but she had everything scheduled sort of.
How did you find out that she had everything scheduled?
When I showed up, she was like, we're gonna do this, and it wasn't really things we had pre-discussed.
Okay. Did you guys have fun or you didn't have fun?
Neither of us had fun.
You didn't have fun either?
No.
Why not? How did you feel it had gone and why?
It's a lot to manage a 3-year-old kind of by yourself, and Hannah was rather overbearing the entire trip. She was trying to tell me how to parent my kid, and I didn't really appreciate it the entire time. And then towards the end, my daughter...
Give me an example of how you felt she did that.
It was just every time we were in public and my daughter would start to act up, she would get really embarrassed and be like, oh, I know exactly what to do in this situation. She was very...
Because everybody does their best parenting before they have children.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
So I was grabbing the child and I was kind of rocking her back and forth on my lap. And she puked all over my brand new tote bag.
And later,
Here's the thing, Miss Springfield. I don't think you get the privilege of calling him a sexist when you were all into the way he was and you just wanted to hide the way you were.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Hannah RAINN, who is suing Gwen Fables for a ruined tote bag.
Okay, so now we're on the flight home. Everybody's upset, but you're keeping it together.
Yeah.
You're on the flight home, and what happens?
Everything's rising, and her kid starts screaming and running up and down the aisles and getting
running up and down the aisles.
Yeah, getting out of her seat.
How is the child able to run up and down the aisles on an airplane?
Get out of her seat, run up and down the aisles. The flight attendant came over, was like, you need to keep her in her seat, was screaming. Everyone was looking at us like, please don't. Like, we're trying to sleep here. We're trying to live our lives. We're trying to get work done. And I felt super embarrassed. And she just sat there, straight face, like not even caring.
Even when the flight attendant said, what are you doing?
The flight attendant, yep.
Who was sitting on the inside? Who was sitting on the outside?
I was sitting on the outside. She was sitting.
So how did the child get over you to get out in the aisle?
Climbed over me.
You didn't stop her?
I tried to.
Okay, well, she's 3. She needs to be able to, it's a longer flight.
Yeah, I know, honey. Let me tell you what
she
she doesn't need to be able to do. I know because I had 3 of these, okay? All 3 of them were 3, as luck would have it. She doesn't need to be running up and down aisles in an airplane.
Yes, but
So why were you letting her run up and down an aisle in an airplane?
Towards the end of the trip, she started to get a little bit worn down.
No, I'm sorry. I don't understand how the child gets loose from you to have the opportunity to run up and down the aisle. I don't understand. You weren't getting up and walking with her? If she needs to walk, why aren't you walking with her? Were you tuning out?
I normally would, but I let her out.
Were you tuning out?
Not fully, Your Honor.
Were you tuning out? Because you're used to it. Were you tuning out?
I guess I am used to it. I'm used to being a mom, and clearly Hannah is someone who's not accustomed to being
I'm not
with
talking
children.
about her. I'm talking about the rest of the plane. So your child is screaming. That really was happening. She's not exaggerating.
She was a little unruly. She wasn't feeling very well. Normally, I would just let my kid just scream it out a little bit.
Oh, okay. So normally you let your kid scream it out when you're in the privacy of your home, but when you're in an airplane, is that also what you do? Because I got news for you. Listen very carefully to me. That's not mothering, okay? Because there's another 100 and something people on the airplane, and they really don't want to hear your kids scream. So if your kids are going to be kids, and they didn't take a private jet, so they may have to hear a child screaming, but they expect mom to make an effort to calm the child down. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because you're living in a civilized society where everybody has to make an effort. And if you're trying, I have found that when you are trying to calm the child and you can't, everybody's very forgiving. But if you have your headphones on or you're doing your own thing and you don't really care that the child's screaming, no one's going to forgive you. And I'm not just talking about Hannah. Okay? All right. So what happens?
So I was left to calm the child.
Yeah, but she's not. But the child isn't your responsibility.
Everyone was looking at me like it was.
Oh, like this. But go ahead. Go on.
That's not what crossed my mind in the moment.
I know.
So I was like, can I try something? She was like, yeah, go ahead. She was not about it at all. So I was grabbing the child and I was kind of rocking her back and forth on my lap. And she puked all over my brand new tote bag that I saved up.
Your Gucci tote bag.
Yes.
Did you take it to a dry cleaners and attempt to take the stains out?
Yes, I did. In fact,
Do you have a
I actually
picture?
have
Don't hand them a
evidence.
folder, hand them the picture you're talking about.
So I have a picture of what it looked like, and then I have evidence of the dry cleaner visits.
Ooh.
And then, yep, and then here is actually a receipt for the total price of the bag as well.
Yeah. Okay. How is it that it's her fault that you were rocking the child, ergo the child vomited?
So when I was yelling at her, she said that she was like, oh, I knew that would happen. Her child doesn't like to be rocked. She didn't warn me, didn't tell me anything about that. She was so pissed off
Did you
that
say
she
the
was like,
phrase, I knew that would
let it
happen?
happen.
Well, Your Honor, this was the theme of the whole weekend of her thinking that she can parent my baby more than I can.
Did you actually know your child would vomit?
I wasn't sure or anything, but I just know she doesn't like that motion.
So why didn't you just tell her, no, don't rock my child?
Because at this point, I was so fed up with her thinking she knew better than me that I said, go for it. You know what? Maybe it'll work this time.
Wait, were you hoping your child would vomit on her bag?
I was not hoping.
Were you kind of hoping so you could be proven a good mother?
No, Your Honor. I was just hoping that it might settle both of them down.
Look, it's your physical motions that made the child throw up, okay? I am very concerned. I was ready to just say, tough for you, goodbye. But I am very concerned when I hear the mom say, I just knew this would happen. Because now there is an action that she took that helps to lead to this, which is no action when you know that this is going to happen. I find it to be both your faults. I'm going to order her to pay you half the value of the bag, $692.50. Verdict for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $692.50.
I really hope you learn how to parent your child better.
That handbag's as ugly as your personality.
Coming up,
I am saving myself to have sex when I get married. I used to live a very rock and roll type of lifestyle, you know, lots of sex, lots of partying, lots of drugs.
Okay.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. James AMIRI claims he dumped his girlfriend after learning she's a nude online cam girl, and he wants her to repay him for their tango lessons. Amy Springfield says she was going to tell the plaintiff about her online gig, but he found out first.
Okay, Mr. AMIRI, you are suing your former girlfriend, Ms. Springfield, for $1,009.38 in tango lessons that you feel she owes you because you had to break up.
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor.
And what happened here?
So to provide a little bit of backstory, I am saving myself to have sex when I get married. I used to live a very rock and roll type of lifestyle, you know, lots of sex, lots of partying, lots of drugs.
Okay.
And one night, I had partied a little too hard and I got pulled over and got booked for a DUI. And I realized in that moment I had to change what I was doing. In that
Okay,
immediate
so I
moment.
understand the
Yes.
drinking and don't drink and drive part,
Yes.
but you felt that you had to change your...
I needed to change everything across
Okay.
the board. Yes.
All right.
So as a result of that, that became a conviction, a vow I made to myself, not only to protect myself from going back into that lifestyle, but also that when I did meet somebody, I would know their character. I would know them as a human being, and that I was thinking with my head and my heart as opposed to other parts of my body.
Okay.
So, one day, I'm going out for coffee. I'm, just in a new part of the city, and I walk into this little mom and pop bookstore. It's called Larry's. And then I see the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And, after a good little bit of small talk, I asked her if she would like to go on a date with me.
And you reacted to this how? You were happy.
I admired his confidence.
Yeah.
Answered his questions, and then I, 30 seconds in, realized, this guy's kind of cute, and he's got a lot of confidence, and I admired that.
Coming up,
Then she tells me that not only for the entire duration of our relationship, but since college, she has been an online cam girl selling nude photos and videos of herself to strangers.
Oh, my.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of James AMIRI, who is tangling with Amy Springfield over the cost of tango lessons.
All right, so you start dating.
Yes. So We go out to dinner. She's telling me about this tango class she's found that she's just so enthralled by. There's this famous dancer. She really, really, really wants to go. I set it up. I send her a message saying, hey, we've done this. We are going to go to this tango lesson, fully paid for. The tango lessons, I believe, started on July 17th.
Okay.
And then about July 6th, she sits me down. I can immediately tell there's something wrong. You know, we've been together for a bit, so, you know, I'm asking her, like, are you okay? Are you sick? Like, well, what's going on? Tell me, trust me, what's going on? Then she tells me that not only for the entire duration of our relationship, but since college, she has been an online cam girl selling nude photos and videos of herself to strangers.
Oh my.
For a monthly fee.
Okay. So she tells you, and then you break up with her.
I break up with her.
But now you've come to court and you're suing for the cost of the gift because what?
I reached out to the lead instructor. I explained very simply, we broke up. Obviously, we can't do a tango class if we're broken up. I would like to get a refund.
And they said, take someone else.
Yes.
And
yes.
no refund. So you feel that because she was up to whatever she was up to, the breakup is her fault, and the gift is no longer a gift and is now a debt, and she should repay you.
To put it simply, yes. She pretended to be somebody she was not.
Ms. Springfield, it's your time to shine. You knew he wasn't going to take it well, right? Like, you knew who you were dating.
I just thought it was something that I could reveal once we got to know each other better and it progressed.
Like tricky and sneaky and dishonest, because what you wanted was you wanted your cake and you want to eat it too.
Judge Milian's verdict when justice for the people returns.
You know, it's funny because in your answer to the complaint, you actually used the word sexist or something like that. And here's the thing, Ms. Springfield. I don't think you get the privilege of calling him a sexist when you were all into the way he was. And you just wanted to hide the way you were and then wait long enough where he was so in love with you that he overlooked the way you were. He's entitled to what he wants. You're entitled to what you want. We all live once. So it sounds to me like you were being a little bit deceptive. Having said that, that's neither here nor there. So no, Mr. AMIRI, a gift is a gift, and it doesn't become a debt because you're angry and you feel put upon and you feel deceived. That doesn't mean that a gift you bought her, which you've actually been able to keep, is something that she now has to pay you back for. Go learn her that tango. Verdict for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim was denied.
You know, I hope the next woman that you date, you respect her a little bit more than me.
I hope the next man you meet, you tell him what you are ahead of time.
You're such a hypocrite.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.